Travis, we recording?
Yes, sir.
Good, thank you. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our April board meeting. Appreciate your attendance. I'm going to start by letting Sean do a quick roll call, make sure we're good on the quorum.
Sure. We have 6 of our 8 partner agencies present, therefore we have a quorum.
Who's online, just so we'll know?
Larry Bailey and David.
Okay. Good morning, Mayor. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate you being there. First order of business is the minutes from the March meeting. Everybody have a chance to review those? They were sent out in the mail. Any comments, questions, revisions? If not, is there a motion to approve? The motion and approval on the minutes from March. Any further discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Motion carries. Thanks. Jessica.
Good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. I wanted to start on Schedule 2 and take a moment to talk about our long-term investment account. You'll see that it has returned $43,000 in value from March and over $120,000 this year to date. The investment committee did meet earlier this month with our account manager at Truist to review the account's performance. So far, our accounts return of roughly 5% is following current market trends. When we asked him how our current strategy compares to similar entities, he confirmed that we are on a similar track, so that's good news. He said that if he saw a benefit to shifting strategies, he'd communicate that to us to discuss and make a decision before he did any moves to do so. But under the current market conditions, we are in a good position. Staying on Schedule 2, we'll see that the operating expenses exceeded our operating revenues by almost $1.2 million. This is in line with previous months this year. As of March, our revenues are exceeding budget expectations by about $575,000 and are over last year by $709,000. For operating expenses, we're still beating our budget by about $106,000. Overall, our year-to-date net operating losses are $815,000 under budget, so that's good news. Then I move on to Schedule 6. It shows our levy receipts. We received $1.5 million in March and another $1 million for April. That brings our year-to-date total to $7.7 million. And at this point, we are exceeding last year's receipts by 7.8%. If anybody has any questions, just let me know.
I'll kind of point out something that Jessica was talking about. We met about the long-term investments, which was what we anticipated doing when we started this back in October approximately, at a 6-month mark. So we need to have kind of a game plan, I think, for the future as to what is everybody's comfortable with. Mark has done exceptionally well. It's not going to be like that every 6 months. And I felt like we got a little bit of a pep talk from the guy from Truist, like, I'm here on good circumstances. I could easily be here and the circumstances wouldn't be like they are right now. So I felt like that was kind of part of the presentation to prepare us that we got, just timing-wise, we're in a pretty good position. So we were a 6-month cycle the first go around. We didn't change anything. Does anybody think that we should do something different? Should it be a year? What's the thought process?
I would like at least go one more time, 6 months.
Okay.
Just to see where we're at. That puts us a year out.
So October, maybe late September, if you want to put that on your calendar, Jessica. And then we'll just remember to get that scheduled with them.
Perfect.
The fellow from Truist is obviously very knowledgeable about it, made a nice presentation. Gave me comfort that we have to make the decisions about what they're going to do with it, but that we're with people that are making sound decisions on our behalf. And that we're not doing things that's outside the box, which we don't want to do. We want to do things that are consistent with what other agencies that have fiduciary responsibilities are doing, particularly with taxpayer funds. And I think we're in a good place in that regard. Are there other questions for Jessica on the financial statements? If not, we will move along to old business, and looks like insurance reports up first.
Good morning, everyone. In your packet, you'll see the insurance claims report. We had 3 additional claims in March. One was an accident on 119 near Oakwood Road. The other accident that we had was Elk River Road, where an individual pulled right out in front of us, and our driver did a really good job of making the situation less bad. And
employees injured on that? Any of them?
So, the one on Elk River Road did go, and have to seek medical treatment, but that person is back to work now. And I'm still working through all the other claims as you can see there, so.
Thank you, Kurt. And in operations, Jacob?
Good morning. So in the report number one, we saw a slight increase in the total ridership from March of last year, to a 1.59% increase. Down the bottom right, the transit app box there, we're continuing to see an increase in the activity. The transit app, last month, it was just under 5,000 rides used by the transit app. On operations report two, continue to see an increase in the activity with the transit app, the day passes used, full fare cards. The revenue was just under $8,000 a month in revenue received from the transit app. Then down the bottom with the ridership programs, West Virginia State and the Operation Transportation Program, Jane Hills, those two programs, so pretty significant increase from the previous ones. That's all I have.
On the transit app, there's, under users, 1750 was for March. That would be the unique number of people that are using it?
Correct.
And have we done a hard push down at with Kurt and people down at City Center to educate everybody about how to use it?
We're getting ready to, now that the weather's starting to turn, we're gonna have some pop-up events there.
Yeah, Kelsey just picked up some banner stands now that we're gonna be able to put up there and put up at Capital Market and other locations where we can put a table and educate folks on downloading the app and how to use it. So they look really nice. Should put them, we'll go grab one. Yes. I wanted to touch on something also that's not necessarily in here in the operations report, but I wanted to make the board aware. Last month, coincidentally, actually, it was the same day as the board meeting. After the board meeting, our customer service reps started getting calls concerning the mobile ticketing, the Masabi platform where you buy your tickets and get on the bus. Some passengers were having concerns that they were being charged or overcharged for their tickets. And so we started going behind the scenes to figure out what was wrong and found out that there was an error with Masabi where instead of charging individuals every single day when they bought a bus pass, it collected those and it charged them all at one time, which, you know, it may not sound like much, but if you get charged $200 or, you know, more, or even, you know, $20 on a day that you're not expecting to, that can be a real issue. So we immediately went into damage control, and our first priority was making our passengers whole. And so we did that, and then worked behind the scenes with the transit app and with Masabi. We have since then come to a settlement with Masabi that makes us comfortable that we received the percentage of those ticket payout that we would have received had this incident not happened. But I want to thank our customer service reps who fielded a bunch of calls, Kelsey for working with the marketing out on social media and working through Masabi Transit and NeoRide to solve that problem. It was a couple of days, and it was hard on us because we want people to adopt this platform, and we're so invested in it that something that was totally out of our control had an opportunity to really knock that down. But I was excited to look at this month's usage and revenue coming in from Masabi because it shows that the users were still comfortable and confident in that system. And it increased even though this had happened. So I wanted to make the board aware. We went through it. I'm happy with the feedback from Masabi and the transit app of making it right, and we don't anticipate having any of those issues in the future.
In the last 30 days since the last board meeting, a bigger increase than what's on the report. There's people taking use. Have they been charging like that since day one, since we started using this?
Yeah, what it was doing, Jay, it was, so you know when anyone purchases something on a credit card and it puts a pending charge on your card, well, people were seeing that. It was saying, hey, here's your $1.50 for Masabi. But then quietly, a couple of days later, that pending charge dropped. So it never actually charged your account. when the system finally realized that all those charges were not actually made, it remitted all of them at 12:01 a.m. on, what was it, March 20th? March 19th. And so everyone, they only got charged for tickets they actually purchased and rode, but it's not the spirit of how you buy things. When you purchase something, you expect to pay for it then, as opposed to, hey, 3 months later, you get charged for all the bus passes that you bought over the course of those 3 months. And that was really hard. And so we had individuals coming in saying, hey, I understand I got the bus ticket and I paid for it and I got what I paid for, but this is a real hardship for me to take this all at once. So that was our first priority, was taking care of our passengers and making sure they were made whole.
So did it reject anybody if they didn't have a certain balance, the higher balance on their card?
We had individuals, and we pushed them forward to Masabi, of individuals who claimed that they had overdraft charges also, because you think if you know, depending on your situation, if $200 or however much comes out of your account, that could send you over
Yeah.
that, and then you owe not 200, but 250, 200, whatever else. We gave them the contact information to go back to Masabi to work that out, but all of the transactions from us were refunded back to the passengers. So.
Was that our cost or Masabi?
Again, the settlement we've come to with Masabi has made us whole, in my opinion, so it would have been on us.
So are we aware of people that are still working with Masabi, like that did have overdraft charges, as to how they were treated by Masabi? Did you work with them, Kelsey?
There wasn't a lot of contact with Wasabi unfortunately throughout. We were provided with an email address for affected customers to contact, and our understanding that it would be handled on an individual case-by-case basis. To our understanding, people were refunded, but
It was dealt with by Masabi. And are you still hearing from our customers that are unhappy with their circumstances?
not at all. No, we haven't received. Everything was taken care of fairly quickly and refunded in a timely manner. I think it's been hard approaching 3 weeks at least since we've heard things.
Okay.
And everyone that reached out seemed very appreciative.
They're satisfied. Are you hearing anything on your routes, Brett?
A lot of people, I mean, it's taking a while to get used to what they like so far as what, are you talking about the?
Well, in particular, if they got this situation where they,
I haven't heard anything.
Okay.
When all this happened, I did hear a little bit, but it was only a couple of days, and then they're like, it's fixed.
they were satisfied. Okay. I know it was a fire drill when it happened, so they jumped right on it, and because there's just too much at risk. You know, we've got big investments in this technology for everybody to decide that it's failed immediately.
It's the same day the board approved the new contract with
Yeah.
When we approved the contract.
coincidentally.
Yeah, when Sean called like at 2 on that Thursday, I was like, that's not normal. Something's happening.
Yeah, we were freaking out, but again, thanks to our entire team that worked through that and made it as painless as possible for our passengers. That was our number one.
When you might mention about the relationship with NeoRide, because that was a factor in this.
Yeah, NeoRide. So again, back to this consortium that we joined, NeoRide there, almost 2 years ago now. Catherine Conrad and the executive director there who helps manage that program. Our relationship with Masabi is facilitated through NeoRide. And they very quickly sent their counsel after this situation to say, hey, how are we going to make this whole? Because, it's not just KRT's property. There were some other properties affected by this same scenario. But I was very appreciative and impressed with the partnership and just the genuine interest that was displayed by NeoRide through this situation.
Did other transit have this problem, or was this isolated to our?
I believe there were one other property. There were 2 properties total, but one other property was impacted. Yeah. Canadian Public Transit Agency was impacted.
But that consortium basically leveraged a small transit authority to our benefit. I mean, we
Sure.
wouldn't have had that leverage with Masabi otherwise.
Sure. And it's to their credit, and it's also, the individuals with Transit App, this was a really big deal to them also, because this is, Masabi was the platform that performs the mobile ticketing, but the app you download and what you think you're using is the transit app. So transit, I will give them credit also from day one. We're on the phone trying to resolve this as quickly as possible, because that's their image and their brand of, hey, when you use our app, they want it to work. And so again, I'm really impressed with transit app folks also.
Do the subways use this also, like, up in big cities?
Yeah, there's different, yes, and I'm not sure if the subway systems use the Masabi portion of that, but the transit app, yes, very much so. I know that the transit app group told us, I think it's 54 different public transit entities use Masabi specifically to do their mobile ticketing, but there are other players out there in the mobile ticketing world. But Masabi is the entity that NeoRide Group and then KRT contracted with.
Any other questions about that? Yes, sir.
Mr. President, before we move on the operations report, I want to thank everyone that was involved with the storms that happened earlier this month. It was obviously scary for everyone that was involved, but to the dispatchers, supervisors, to the operators, mechanics, and administration staff, we got through it. We were able to get our passengers back on the bus. We had routes that were obviously rerouted, and also the flooding the next week. Everyone came together and worked through it, and especially our operators did a great job, as we lost radios for a little bit.
Yep.
Communications was down, and they did a great job getting through that situation. So, again, it was a pretty scary situation, I think, for everyone in this room when those storms came through, but everyone did a great job.
Do we have any damage from anything?
So they'll be on the next insurance report. We were a month behind.
The rest of the story.
We did have a garage door, and unfortunately, the roof in the fuel bay was damaged during that storm. It came through, and like I said, the garage door out here and the roof bay. I'm looking at Travis to see if I'm missing anything.
That's good.
So.
Was that an old roof, hopefully?
They're all over.
Have we turned it into the county or anything, the dollar amounts?
We need to turn it into the county, and we need
It
to do
helps
that.
there.
Yeah, I've realized that it helps there for in case FEMA or someone wants to come in for those storms. So, we will definitely, fill out that survey, and Travis has gotten an estimate already, and, so we're working through the insurance company there. They had several claims. Yeah, they also have, Kingston Park, our insurance company, so they had several things.
And bus stops were all okay, so.
So, all the shelters and those types of things were fine. Obviously, that whole day, we were dealing with reroutes because of trees and power lines and billboards. You never expect a billboard to be right in the middle of the road, but that's what happened.
Yep, that's great.
So new business, the roof project, who's gonna present that?
Travis and I can tag team this one. So we gave an update to the board last month, maybe the month before, that we were going through the process of putting out an RFP to replace the admin facility, so the building you're in right now, the roof for this facility. How long ago was this roof put on?
This was in 97.
97, okay. So it's far exceeded its useful life, and again, we've had situations that have been extremely scary for us where weather and water specifically has infiltrated this room, etc. And our fear is that would at one point come into the server or some other part of our infrastructure that would be extremely costly. So I give Travis credit for jumping through the hoops of putting out an RFP, which is a little bit more complicated for a construction project. And Travis, if you want to go into some details there, of who all responded and.
So
That's
the
still in the
responders,
paper for some reason.
there's
It was in the paper this
two
morning.
Were Music Sales Service LLC, Tri-State Roofing, and Chino Company, Thoroughbred Construction Group LLC, and Harrisburg Group. All the vendors have to do a site visit, independent site visit, to be considered responsive. And
Hey Travis, can you turn on this TV? I can't see that.
We'll turn off the lighter there too.
Yeah, and I think what you want to touch on here too during this RFP process is you look at all four of those different categories, and it's not just the price, but what we're looking for and what FTA calls is the best value for the project. And that's where, excuse me, even by 1 point, the recommendation coming from the staff for the best value and who we would recommend going into contract with for the roof replacement for the admin building is Harris Brothers Roofing Company.
And to give you kind of an overview, just the specifics of our roof, right now, our roof is not fastened, it's held on by rock, and that was an old style, but it's still prevalent today. You don't have to use adhesive, fasteners, or anything, you lay rock on it. It makes it hard for repair, you can't go back and find holes, things like that. And it can create holes from walking on it. We're replacing our roof hatch, and we're doing a tapered roof system that will allow our drains to better drain full ponding water off of our roof, which has caused issues in the past as well. So we're not just going back with just a flat roof, we're trying to improve current conditions.
Because currently, if it rains, you can go up there probably 4 or 5 days later, and there's still ponds of water on the roof.
Do all of these companies use their own staff to do the projects?
So the only contractor that stated that they were gonna use subcontractors was Thoroughbred Construction.
And so did they have to put their credentials in the bid?
We did not receive credentials from the subs, but they did list that they would use subcontractors.
It did impact the scoring.
Okay.
Was there any consideration of pitched roof versus flat roof? Is it way out of?
Yeah, I mean, going to a pitched roof would be fairly difficult for our situation, so that's where the taper would come in. So you would have, in areas on the side of the roof, you would create tapers to create kind of like a pitched roof into the drain. We have hard pipe drains onto the roof, so with those tapers, you get the same benefit without having to completely redesign a flat roof system. They do that with insulation underneath, so you get higher R value in those areas as well.
And warranty?
Warranty was, originally the RFP was sent out with a 15-year warranty. That was a mistake on my end, just due to the 60 mil membrane. It's standard to have a 20-year warranty, so it was updated with a 20-year warranty. And also replacement of our hatch that we use to access the roof.
Have all these companies been around for 20 years?
Yes. Or excuse me. I misspoke. No, Music has not been around for 20 years. They have over 20 years experience collectively with their laborers, but no, they have not been active.
Good thing consistent roof on.
Harrisburg.
And they're still go back to gravel or blue or?
No, so this section of the roof that you're under now is concrete, that goes all the way toward the end. The lobby area is metal deck, so this will be adhesive, no rock on that. And then this section over the lobby already doesn't have rock, it's panther fastened, we'll go back to panther fastened.
You sound like a roofing expert all of a sudden.
Spent a lot of time on the roof.
IT and roof, that's,
No, again, Travis, thank you. Travis is extremely thorough. He spent several hours on the phone yesterday making sure that all these things, everyone's jumped through the hoops and, dotted their I's across their T's, and I appreciate him.
Got one more question.
Yep.
Was there any of this damaged from this past storm on this existing roof here that were replaced?
no, sir.
Darn.
Did anybody come and do a site visit that didn't bid?
No, sir. Everyone that showed up and did site visits did.
And that was part of the requirement, was that they had to come here and meet with you or somebody to look at it?
Correct.
So those are the numbers, that's the scoring. What's the staff's recommendation?
The staff's recommendation is that the best value is the Harris Brothers Roofing Company, and we would recommend the board contract with them.
I'd be willing to make a motion to approve the Harris Brothers recommendation
Okay, there's a motion, is there a second? Then I'll get your okay, there's a second by David. Did you have a question? There's time for discussion, huh?
Yeah, I didn't see
Oh.
the numbers. That's not necessarily the low bid. The low bid was 146.
Correct.
The points you accepted was 157.
Correct, yes. it
Okay.
is.
Is Harris under any kind of lawsuits, or any workers' comp lawsuits investigation?
So that would debar them from, saying, okay, or their case number, that's what, the federal website, SAM.gov, they check the department. things like that. So you'd be suspended or debarred. After that. All of these companies have a certificate on, and then there would be a performance and a payment plan associated with this that would protect us.
Was there completion time?
Yeah.
Should they be?
That is. Roofing expert, but I don't have that at the top of my head. So the anticipated completion is June 30th. So they can complete it before then, but that is their date.
And there's penalties if they don't.
You have, which we accidentally added this into our vehicles, before, and we got in trouble with it. We had findings for this due to, us not charging for that, but with construction, you're supposed to charge them per day, for your roof damages, completion of the project. So until that, you incur those costs until it's complete. Or until
I'll just point out some personal knowledge about Harris is that they also have an HVAC division, so we got all kinds of rooftop equipment that's gonna have to be dealt with, that has both electrical, freon, systems like that are gonna have to be dismantled, temporarily and put back in place. Tri-State's the same way, and that's probably why they work in both of those different trades, is that they have to deal with that all the time, so they will have their own staff people deal with that. They won't have to contract with somebody else to do it.
And that's part of that roofing bid?
It's turnkey is what I read.
So the bidder, is to disconnect any telemetry and work around any of the mechanical, systems on the roof. They are to remove everything, all of the rock, all of the existing membrane, ISO, installation, and then dispose of that on their own, and then go back with a turnkey job.
Did anybody core the roof?
Yes.
So that's known.
Yes, so, 3 of the 4 did core, but I pushed one that did not, but Harris Brothers did core, did a core sample.
Who didn't core it?
Music, total service.
Okay.
They measured it, but, I offered it to them, but they did not.
Is that for asbestos?
Yeah. Yeah. If it's concrete, my guess is when they put this roof on, they stripped it down to the concrete and there wouldn't have asbestos on it. But if it had been laid over an old roof, there's a good possibility, particularly if it was a tar, a chip and gravel type, that would have had asbestos in it.
This is concrete. What's the other one there?
Well, this has a concrete slab on top of it, from what Travis is saying. Is it all the way across, right? Except for this front section?
Yes.
Yeah. This is a well-built building.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, it must be a storm.
Yeah.
Yeah, we found that out.
Okay, so there's a motion on the floor, which is to accept the staff's recommendation on the Harris bid for the roof project. Any additional discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. And thank you, Travis, for doing that. The RFP is still in the paper, by the way.
They were to take it down after 30, but I'll make sure that they.
Okay, I just saw it this morning. Next, that's not on the agenda, it's really just a quick awareness and discussion, is that, I don't know who in the room might be aware of what Leadership West Virginia is, but it's a program that's meant for leaders throughout the state to gather and learn about different industries, learn about different parts of the state. You have to be nominated to do it. It's an esteemed group of people. It's an opportunity to create connections. And our leader has been nominated and is going to participate in that program. It's a 6-month commitment. The only hiccup is that it corresponds with our board meetings. And so Sean was afraid that Kurt or Jacob or Kelsey would be sitting here if he was gone for 6 months. So we decided that maybe we ought to alter the date of our monthly board meeting, which within the bylaws is acceptable. I don't want to disrupt people's level of participation, but I'm wondering if we moved it to the same week of the month, but on a Wednesday, if that would be a standing problem for anybody. I don't know if that's an issue. Is that a problem with you, Brett? Okay. I want to make sure Sean participates in this because it's going to be something that's going to elevate his experience and opportunities for his work here, and really give him some connections throughout the state. And I think it's important he gets to do it. But I don't want him to be absent for 6 months of board meetings either. Does anybody have any heartburn about changing that date?
Need a motion for that?
I don't think so. Any idea about that? If we need a motion to change the board meeting date?
The bylaws say the
Yeah, I was
president
gonna say
has the
it's
ability
fine,
to
and
change
no one,
it.
and no one's
Yeah.
making any
I
objection.
mean, we'll give proper notice.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, as long as everything's the same 10 days out, it'll be fine.
Or
No.
is it just one day a week or something?
It's a 2-day, so it's the again, it's the third Thursday and then Friday
Oh,
of
but
each
okay.
month for the next 6 months. And it's at different locations across the state. So first one's in Huntington, then it's in Charlestown, and you pop around and learn about different industries and kind of do that networking.
Just have to do 2 days a week.
Yes, sir. Yep. Yes, sir.
Will the meetings go back to Thursday after that point, or just keep on?
Yes.
we'll go back to our normal schedule. This is just temporary, but there's too many things that go on, and frankly, we're only required, I think, to have 4 meetings a year.
Yep.
So we may miss a month if it's light, like this would have been a light month if not for the roof project, which was timely. But we have budgets coming up and things like that, and we need to make sure that Sean's participating. Because what Sean explained to me this morning is that once you start the program, it's kind of like a continuing education course. You get judged based on your participation and being there. So you can't just pop out for an hour-long Zoom call.
Yeah, I was hopeful that it started at like 9 or 10 o'clock, but it's 8 a.m. on those Thursdays. And I thought, this is bad.
Yeah, and you'll be in Morgantown and Martinsburg and Flatwoods or wherever. It's going to be all over the place.
Thank you all for accommodating me.
With this, the
with that.
Wednesday meeting, would that need to raise it to
No,
9:30 or anything?
Wednesday could be perfect. I wouldn't be required to be anywhere until Thursday morning, so.
So you'll have time to get there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. My last point I wanted to bring up is I wanted to congratulate Brett Meadows was elected to president of Union Local ATU 1742 this past week, and really look forward to working with Brett more on a daily basis. And we've already started those conversations, and I just wanted to congratulate him. And Amanda Conley was elected as the financial secretary. Is that correct? Yeah. So thank you both, and congratulations, and look forward to working with you.
Congratulations. I think we take for granted that Brett works here, but he's the statewide union president, so that's a big deal.
Good deal.
What's your agenda? What's your platform?
State of the Union.
Right now, it's.
Speech.
I'm gonna do what I gotta do, I guess.
Well, Brett gets elected and gets thrown into 2 contract negotiations, or 1?
Do I?
You got thrown into 2
I
contract
got thrown
negotiations?
into one, which
One
I already
immediately.
got. I already settled that one, so.
Okay. Well, good. Well, hopefully it'll keep you busy.
Oh, it's keeping me busy.
Will you be driving much, or is this going to take up most?
It'll be 50-50 more or less. I mean, half driving, depending on the situations.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was also going to note that the budgeting committee will be, Jessica will be sending out some invitations for early in May. So we'll send that out to the entire board, and if anyone wants to be more involved than they have in the past, we look forward to that also.
So that will be done before the next board meeting?
Correct, yes.
In May will be the budget?
Yes.
Okay. Any other comments, questions?
The next board meeting will be when it's on Wednesday, correct?
You're right. It'll be the third Wednesday of the month. And we'll make sure that there's ample notice. Answer your phones, answer your email,
Yep.
you know,
Cheryl's really
make,
good about it.
Yes.
yeah, to make sure everybody's on the same page so we don't have a screw up.
And again, thank you all so much for accommodating that. I know it's the consistency, third Thursday is the meeting, but I appreciate you.
That's an opportunity.
Yeah, it's a small accommodation, I think, for something that's important. All right, thanks for everybody